then ate up the competition when their Fang frontman became a music video visionary.
I was on a mission. Lead, follow, get the out of the way. We did these videos, and we become, in '84, one of the biggest bands in the world. You can't stop rock and roll.
But the heat around Twisted Sister was quickly extinguished by overexposure.
Twisted Sister! What is that?
And they became the prime target in a campaign to put a gag on rock and roll.
We weren't doing anything wrong. We weren't, having sex with farm animals. This is America, freedom of speech. Whatever happened to that?
Twisted Sister became the poster child for everything wrong with rock and roll.
Suddenly forsaken by their fans, they couldn't shake their image as a gimmicky glam group. And the sisters came apart in ugly catfights.
He was uncontrollable at one point. It was even abusive sometimes towards some of us.
I just believed my own hype, and there was no talking to me.
I wanted him dead. And not by me, I didn't want to kill him. But if you got into a plane crash or a car wreck, good riddance to an asshole.
Now, the tangled tale of a hair band that scratched its way to the top, only to come undone in a blaze of infamy. Twisted Sister, the story behind the music.
Oh boy, is this great!
Come on, buddy. That was a hot show. Step on back.
In the summer of 1984, Twisted Sister was on a tear. Record buyers were gorging themselves on the band's triple platinum album, Stay Hungry. And TV audiences had an insatiable appetite for their irreverent video, We're Not Gonna Take It.
Almost overnight, we were just selling so many records, and everybody had heard of the band.
You skyrocketed in popularity. I mean, it was right up. Huge, huge.
I wanna rock!
It had taken Twisted Sister 10 tortured years to climb to the pinnacle of rock and roll. But in what seemed like 10 minutes, they fell off the other side, buried in a barrage of miscalculations and overexposure.
We were a perfect example of a band that fought and fought to become the biggest band in the world. And as soon as we realized it, we said, you know what? That's not enough. Now, let us incinerate ourselves.
The band's popularity just crashed. They saw us as a joke, not as a serious rock band, which we were.
Just months after being the talk of the music world, Twisted Sister began dissolving into anonymity and anger. For years, the band members would struggle to understand why.
Fame's a rough business to be in, and you got to be strong to survive it. When all of a sudden things just stop like that, and you say, well, what do I do now? This is all I know how to do.
Here I was, broke and famous. This face is hard to forget. And every place I went, everybody still knew who I was. And that was really, really dark time.
Twisted Sister's road to triumph and tribulation began in 1971 in New York City. The group's founder, J.J. French, was then a part-time guitarist and full-time drug abuser in search of sonic salvation.
I was a New York hippie, and I hung out with people in Central Park, got stone cold into drugs, and I had to get away from all of it in order to save my life. The irony of my life is I got away from drugs and joined a rock band, all right, to go straight.
In December '72, J.J. formed a cover band, recruiting fellow guitarist Eddie Ojeda soon afterwards. Mimicking a gender-bending group named the New York Dolls, they called themselves Twisted Sister and hit the stage wearing lingerie and lipstick.
I had great legs, and most of the guys in the band did too, as a matter of fact.
We noticed it kind of shocked people, so that's, why we kept doing it.
The group spent 3 years playing clubs in the suburbs of New York. Then in the spring of '76, they met the snarling singer who would change their destiny. 21-year-old Dee Snider had an angry style that arose from a childhood scarred by feelings of alienation.
I wasn't a popular kid, and I wasn't accepted. So as I was rejected by different groups of people along the way, the chip on my shoulder just grew bigger and bigger. I was really very angry at the world.
Dee had few friends, but in his early teens he found common ground with the crackling chords of Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath.
That was my solace. I would come home every day, lock the door of my room, get in front of the mirror, put on music, and start fronting the band. I thought, I'll show my parents, I'll show my teachers, I'll show everybody. Dee Snider is somebody, and I will prove it.
After graduating high school, Dee spent 3 years singing with cover bands before catching the eye of Twisted Sister in the spring of '76. The Glam Gang had long been on the lookout for a ferocious frontman.
Dee came in, and I went, wow, finally somebody who shares this work ethic of just rehearse, 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 grind, grind, grind. And within a short period of time, we became clearly defined.
Change up French, guitar solo.
Dee very quickly took on a dominant role in Twisted Sister. Within weeks of joining, he launched into a tirade, criticizing the group's original material as weak.
And finally somebody says, do you write songs? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, what have you written? Nothing. Well, how do you know you can write songs? Well, I just know I can. He goes, well, shut up until you've written something better. Fair enough. And I remember steaming up into my room and writing the first song. And then I just bring it to the band. And they go, that's pretty good. And then I just never stopped writing.
By early '78, Twisted Sister had rounded out their dysfunctional lineup with bassist Mark Mendoza. They then began bludgeoning audiences with their unlikely brand of rock and roll.
Look like women, talk like men, play like mother. That was the motto of the band, because that's exactly what it was.
Everybody described the band as like a freight train coming through your living room.
We dressed outrageously. We played at incredible volumes. We were very aggressive and constantly assaulting the audience and abusing the audience, trying to get them to react, and they often did.
They were an intimidating presence. Every member of the group stood over 6 feet tall, without heels. But the sisters met their match in a band of bikers at a gig in Islip, New York.
So I get beamed in the head with a bottle cap. So I'm like, stop the music. All right, who the threw that?
Dee has the light in front of him, and he can't see it. I'm looking out, and I went, oh, my God, man, these guys are Hell's Angels.
And there is 2 big Hell's Angels holding back 1 monster Hell's Angel. And he is like, whoa! They're keeping him from coming at the stage. This is the guy who beat me with the bottle cap. Dee goes, what are we going to do? So, born to be wild. So we go, and all of a sudden, it's like they turned off and they went, saved. Born to be wild.
At the dawn of the '80s, Twisted Sister was a top club draw around the New York area. Disaffected teenagers found an outlet in the group's garish looks and in Dee's rage-filled writing.
When rock and roll
People were really attracted to both the shocking image of the band as well as its music.
They appealed to people that felt ostracized. And they appealed to people who view themselves as downtrodden.
I think it's unfair that Brooklyn is the disco capital of the world. We'd like to make Brooklyn the rock capital of the world!
Still, the band's club appeal wasn't translating into any interest from record labels. After 10 years in the trenches of rock and roll, the sisters had no album deal in sight.
We would start venturing into studios and working with people and getting a little closer to the flame, as it were. But every time we tried, it fell apart in some horrifically disastrous circumstance.
Fresh and hot, my wares hard to sell.
The sisters were so unpopular with record labels that Atlantic Records rep Jason Flom was sent packing at the mere mention of the sisters' name.
I walked into my boss's office and I go, I had a religious experience last night. He goes, what are you talking about? And I said, Twisted Sister. He said, go home. Get out of my office and go home.
We just couldn't break the image in the minds of the record cut labels that we were anything more than a club band.
Next, the sisters get a scatological scare.
Welcome to our show.
I was sitting there going, how mad do you have to be to actually then pick it up, steaming hot, and hurl it at a band?
That's what you fell for.
And later, the band's bitter breakup.
I was going to hospitalize the guy. He was going to walk with a limp for the rest of his life.
When Behind the Music continues.
I am the...
Twisted Sister had spent 10 years delighting and deafening audiences in and around New York. But by the summer of '81, they still didn't have a record deal. And it seemed like they never would.
We had sold out the Palladium, played a lot of big shows, still couldn't get signed. The list of turn downs were